Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nearly 90's. We are here on a very special day because we watched Captain America: Brave New World, guys.
Oh yeah.
And so we're gonna go over everything that we liked, hated. We're gonna get into all of it right now, guys.
And I thought that I would. Well, I feel like it's kind of fitting that you would take this off the bat because you're a huge Hulk fan.
Oh,
and
yes.
This movie, getting into it kind of right away, just kind of jumping into what this movie really feels like is this feels like a sequel to The Incredible Hulk that they couldn't get the Hulk for.
Right. And I mean, like I think that is like one of my biggest things with, I guess, like the plot of this movie is like one of the lines that I just wrote down was, this movie wants to be a Hulk movie so bad.
It does.
But yet Hulk is nowhere in the movie, and I think and I know that shouldn't be like a big gripe, I should just take the movie as it is, but when you throw in so many just Hulk villains.
How many are there? There's at least two, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they throw in two Hulk villains.
Not to mention that one is the main villain of the film.
Right. The leader guys. But I mean, other than that, like, that was like, I guess, like the biggest gripe I had with this movie. I mean, yeah, there was like the occasional things that looked off, but I mean, for the most part, like, I couldn't complain with the movie. I guess I enjoyed it. Like,
it was just very cookie cutter.
Yeah.
In some ways, this feels like such a weird hybrid to say, but it feels like this movie was trying so hard to be a combination of a sequel to The Incredible Hulk, but also just a recreation of Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep. Yeah. All right, so should we just talk about the plot real quick?
Yeah,
of this
let's
movie?
do a plot rundown before we get into the really
Right.
nitty-gritty.
I believe this movie technically takes place after Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes, because there's a plot line in that where they give the shield to someone else because Sam doesn't think he is worthy of it, even though it was given to him. The show feels kind of odd that it even exists because he's given the shield, but then he doubts himself. And then there's this whole thing where they give it to someone else who is John Walker. He's U.S. agent in the comics. He's a dickhead. So they eventually get the shield back from him, and he's his own character now. But essentially it gets back with Sam at the end of their series. He is the new Captain America, and this is a continuation of that story.
Right. And I mean, right off the bat, like, were some of these characters like, what was the other Captain America?
In the comics?
No,
Like
no,
what?
in the movie. What was his name? Was
The
his
other was his name Elijah or something?
Elijah or something like that.
Elijah.
Was he in Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
He was. So
Okay.
there is one character in this movie that is definitely you had to watch the TV show type character, and that is Elijah. I can't remember his last name, but essentially in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that show, because there's not Captain America in it really till the very end, but they run into Bucky introduces Falcon to someone from the comics who was a black Captain America, and they essentially in that show explain that he was someone who also got a mix of super soldier serum. He broke his troops out the same way, like it's almost like verbatim the Captain America story, but because of the times, he was treated poorly and imprisoned because he was a black Captain America. So whereas Chris Evans, Captain America, Steve Rogers gets praised and he's the famous Captain America, the other one they just throw him in jail for, I don't know, like 50 years, I think is what they say, something like that.
That is so
That might be
wild.
exaggerated, but it was multiple decades that he's just locked away. And then they just want the world to forget about the fact that he existed. I think it was Elijah Bradley, something like that.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, but he shows up at the beginning of the plot.
Yeah, and I would say I wouldn't say he plays like an important part, but I'd say he at least jumpstarts, I guess, the plot in this movie. I mean, because for the most part, the way it starts out, I think aren't we just watching Captain America, Sam, just like go and infiltrate a place?
Yeah,
Like
it's him facing the Serpent Society from the comics that they very much just kind of water down to being a terrorist organization or mercenary, something like that. they're a group in the comics, from what I remember, that wear corny ass serpent
Yeah.
suits
Yep.
and kind of like the Wrecking Crew,
Yeah.
but they just boil them down to like a reference, and that's about it. They're just like mercenaries.
But yeah. I guess also the big thing about this is there's adamantium.
Yeah. So in the plot, well, first of all, we should just get to the thing that they kind of do at the beginning. That Thunderbolt Ross is now president of
Yes.
the United States of America. I think that is the opening scene, right? Right before the title card,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yes.
Something like that, where it's him. They're announcing like, oh, he's a president. Everyone applauds, and then,
Didn't it show him with the mustache on? Or
yeah,
was I
we get
tripping?
a compilation of footage from the Incredible Hulk showing Harlem again, and then we get an awesome shot of Harrison Ford, Thunderbolt Ross, wearing a mustache.
So I'm glad they. I thought just like they were gonna play it off like he shaved a mustache and then he's like, oh, you look totally different.
Well, they make a decent joke out of it too, where he said
Yeah.
like, what was it, his agent or something? His team said lose a mustache or lose the election,
Right.
because it
right.
would have been ridiculous seeing Harrison Ford with that mustache the whole time.
But yeah, so now Harrison Ford as president, he is trying to. Is he trying? He's pretty much trying to like create a treaty.
Yeah, so the plot of Eternals, this whole fucking movie is tying up loose ends. The movie, I mean, the Hulk being a huge one. They don't, honestly, I don't even know if they know what to do with Captain America. They just wanted to milk a Captain America movie for
Right.
more box office sales.
They
But
knew the
then-
name sold.
But then, yeah, exactly. They knew the name sold. That's essentially it. But then they're also tying up loose ends with Eternals, because I don't think they're going to do anything with them ever again other than like crossovers, because the movies perform badly. So essentially, there's the Celestial hanging out, kind of half born, if you want to call it. Like it was being birthed out of the planet in Eternals. Then it's sticking. Oh, wait,
I never
you-
watched Eternals. I
Oh,
could not care. I
okay.
cared less about that movie.
So Eternals is, I'm not even going to explain fully what they are, the whole group, but the main plot of that is like they're servants of the Celestials that they think are saviors of the universe. But then
Okay.
it turns out the Celestials aren't good people. Well, some are good, some are bad, but that's besides the point. But the ones that they serve, essentially, they pick planets and they live for like eons, like millions of years. So like they essentially pick planets to seed new Celestials, and they're birthed through the planet itself. Like the planets are the incubators, and the Celestials
Crazy.
break free from them. So the end of Eternals is like, and a Celestial is going to be born through Earth. It's going to explode the planet if it's fully born, but they cut off the process, and all you see is a head and an arm sticking out of the ocean. I think it's like the Indian Ocean.
yeah.
So for the last, I don't know how many years it's been since Eternals came out. That's been like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. For the last 3 or 4 years, canonically in Marvel, there's just been a fucking giant celestial being sticking out of the Indian Ocean, and from a movie that is never going to get a sequel. So we have to tie up that loose end too.
They're like, this is the perfect movie to do it with.
It's, yeah, and what better way to tie up a loose end than to also, build up to something again, because now we're going to build up to the X-Men and adamantium. So they explain that the Celestial, Thunderbolt Ross explains this. So the Celestial in the ocean has adamantium in it, which I guess can kind of make sense. It's a foreign metal from the stars, which I think
Right.
in the comics they imply that adamantium comes from like meteorites or like space.
Okay. So it's
And-
pretty much like a vibranium thing as well.
Yeah. Some of the Marvel comics, I think, say that adamantium is like a refined version of vibranium.
Okay.
Something like that, like more processed or something. And then I don't know if I can quote Marvel comics saying that adamantium comes from Celestials specifically, but I know that there's some versions of Marvel comics where the X gene comes from Celestials.
Okay. Interesting.
So they imply, because like in X-Men, and I know where this is all for a fucking Captain America movie, by the way. And this has context. This has context with the Captain America movie,
Which is wild.
which is fucking ridiculous. But yeah, because this is set up for like Wolverine and X-Men characters in the future.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, I'm pretty sure in the comics that some versions were like the Celestials made the X gene, because the X-Men in the comics, it's not that they're all just naturally evolved. They have like a special thing called the X gene that like
Yeah.
unlocks evolution at a
Right.
faster rate to them. And I'm pretty sure the Celestials are the ones that technically made it. And I think there's even like an arc in the comics where the Celestials try to take it back because they claim that like it was a mistake giving it to people on Earth.
I'm sorry, I was just getting a phone call.
Okay.
I lost my train of thought a little bit, but no, I definitely I don't know why they would have to add all of this into, because like I mean, even thinking about just like Captain America and I guess Sam Wilson, like you would never expect that like this movie would, like you would expect to be a little more grounded, I guess, you know?
Well, you also have to think how much of a clusterfuck all these crossovers are at this point. And then
Yeah.
also, I mean, you're talking about weird crossovers. Eternals had Blade in it at the end.
Really?
Yeah. Couldn't fucking tell you why. But the post-credits scene for Eternals again was Blade.
Crazy, and then we still haven't gotten that.
No, still haven't gotten that.
All right, but so back onto the plot. Pretty much, there is like an award showing, or like I guess to like appreciate Captain America for saving the adamantium sample they have, or whatever happened.
So it was stolen by the Serpent Society. The
Yes.
first opening scene we see of Captain America is him getting a sample of it back from the Serpent Society, and then following that they give like a warm appreciation to Captain America. They discuss the treaty that Thunderbolt Ross wants to do, where he wants to split the adamantium up between people on Earth to obviously not start a huge war over
Right.
this indestructible metal. And I think that's where we kind of start to then roll into the brainwashing.
Yeah, where like I guess like a weird sound is emitted to certain people, and then they all start kind of like firing on President Ross.
Yeah, so there's two things. There's flashing lights, and then
Yes.
there's music that plays.
Yes,
it's like
that's
a
what
song
it
called
is.
Mr. Blue or
Yup.
something like that that makes Isaiah and then a bunch of other Secret Service people try to kill Ross. They arrest Isaiah. He doesn't know what the fuck's happening. He was like somehow brainwashed. I mean, let's be real. We all know he was somehow brainwashed. It's not
Right.
it's not some shit of like, did he mean to do it? Like,
No.
no fucking shot. He meant to do it, obviously. And then, so where do we go from here? It's
Now Captain America needs to figure out how to clear Isaiah's name.
yeah. Do they immediately go to the leader's cell after that? Almost.
It's pretty short after that, I would say. Is there one scene with Falcon too? Like the new Falcon? Because we didn't even talk about him.
He's in the. Oh yeah. I mean, just the guy from Falcon and the Winter Soldier who was with Sam. He's the new Falcon, the new sidekick. But
I think so. I think what happens next is there's a conversation between President Ross and Captain America where he's pretty much like, well, now I gotta go rogue. I gotta go against America because that's what Captain America does, you know?
yeah, and then they have the whole thing about like brainwashing, where again that's very not Winter Soldier. I don't think they do the what do you call it? The Soviet brainwash thing when they say
Right.
code words. I think that's more of a Captain America Civil War thing, but
Yeah.
regardless, it's still a Winter Soldier thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like Sam's like, oh, I've heard of people getting brainwashed, implying Bucky, and then they get I can't remember. They get like a tip of where to check out, like this government base.
Yeah.
Where they find
They find
they find what was his name even in the Incredible Hulk?
Samuel Stearns.
Yeah, Samuel Stearns, who all the way back in the Incredible Hulk got some gamma radiation blood on his head. And they find a weird gamma deformed Samuel Stern, aka the leader from the comics, looking kind of black and green and gross all over.
Do they reveal him, or do they just keep him in shadow?
They keep him in shadow earlier on in the movie, but
But he gets revealed to Captain America.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he gets revealed when Cap shows up. Captain Falcon. By the way, we got to keep saying the fact that Falcon's with him because I mean,
Right.
let's be real. Like he's so forgettable.
He
but
is.
we have to mention that he's at least there. Most of this film is Captain America and Falcon with him.
Right. Yeah, and it's sucky to say, but I feel like this whole movie is just kind of forgettable at some point. I'm surprised I remember a lot of it.
So then they find out that Samuel. Wait, did we even like establish the fact that Samuel Stern's fucking with shit?
Oh, well, no, we didn't. But yeah,
No.
so like they'll like cut back. They just like would cut to Samuel Stearns every once in a while, and he'd be doing something creepy. Or
He'll be doing
behind.
something devious, and he's implying that he's gonna fuck with Thunderbolt Ross.
He keeps calling General or President Ross.
Yes, because he's like implying he's gonna do something bad to him, or that he's going to try to kill him. And let's be real, we know he's not trying to kill him. He's just trying to ruin him, quote unquote.
Right.
Because he's all upset that Ross imprisoned him after the events of the Incredible Hulk, and just basically like no trial, let's just lock him up. He's a freak.
Right.
And then
didn't even try to help him.
Yeah, didn't try to help him. And then they also mentioned that that Thunderbolt Ross used Stearns, the leader. He used his knowledge to win the election. So the leader in the comics is just like a guy that gets gamma radiation, but instead of being like, I'm a Hulk, it's more just goes to his brain and makes him really smart.
Yeah.
So he's quote unquote very smart in this film and helped Ross become president, which if I'm going to be real, I didn't buy that he was super smart. They barely do anything with it. They just say like, I had a 28% chance that you were going to take that route when you decided to attack me. It's like, no shit.
Right? Like,
and I was like, where are you getting the logic?
he was smart because the plot made him smart.
And they don't really use it.
No.
They rarely use it.
We didn't even talk about the look of the leader yet.
Oh yeah,
oh,
he's
God.
really gross looking.
So did I show you the pictures of the leader?
The concept art where he actually has the big head.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded that.
Like I think that was actually like a promotional picture for the movie.
Yeah, because I see that like in pretty like I want to say pretty high quality images I've seen of that, and it doesn't look like art. It looks like the actual like art that they used to promote Marvel movies.
Exactly, and it's like it's so weird that they would change that really comic. Well, I guess I wouldn't say that his look that they gave him isn't comic accurate, but
well, you also have to think. Did they change the design maybe in reshoots?
That's what I was thinking.
Because come to think of it,
do you remember how stiff he was in the movie?
Yeah.
Like how much he just wouldn't move?
He just never moved. I thought you were saying when we watched it, I think you were saying something about that he's partially CG'd, so they just told him not to move probably.
Yep. They're like, listen, we're doing reshoots. Just don't move. It's going to make it a hell of a lot easier.
Just don't fucking move.
Please. All of our VFX editors are quitting on us.
Which he didn't even need to be VFX. He didn't need to. He just has a weird, like, so in the comics, he has a big old head, like, very cartoony head, which was also that promotional art that we saw. But in the film, he is, like, kind of grayish green, and he has a weird deformed, like, boily brain head.
It looks like he has cancer in the brain.
He doesn't have he doesn't have a big head. He just has a gross, like, wrinkly brain head.
And the shit that confuses me about it is, all right, so this man has a skull.
Yeah.
Where's the top of his skull?
Yeah.
There's just brain. Like, you could just see the brain through the skin.
And then thinking about the reshoots, too, do you think that there's even a scene in the movie where Sam, a.k.a. Captain America, and the leader are actually in the same shot together, technically?
I don't think so.
Because I think the only time where they technically are is the very out of focus over the shoulder, which I think they could just obviously play around with that and make it possible without them being in the same room. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's even a scene with them together, and it's probably because the scenes that they had with them together are in the original cuts.
I bet
with
they are.
With the old design.
God damn, I would, and I'm not saying like, hey, release the what I don't
the
even
whatever
know.
Cut whoever directed this fucking movie.
Like I don't even know the dude's name. I can't even say that. But like, it would be interesting to see the deleted scenes and like what was, I guess, considered reshoots. Comparatively, I feel like I I would have enjoyed the look better.
Yeah, and then
I wouldn't have laughed as much.
then the other reshoot thing that think was noticeable, or at least I think this is part of the reshoots, is whatever the guy's name is that is Gus from Breaking Bad. He's a leader of the Serpent Society, and he does next to nothing in this movie. And I think his whole I think his whole character insert is just reshoots.
It could be, honestly.
I think he actually just wasn't part of this movie originally, and part of the reshoots, because I think they did like 4 reshoots from what they said. I think they just added his character and scenes with him.
It wasn't like there was like a big action scene either.
No, he fights Captain America once.
Yeah, like there wasn't like because you know when you think of Marvel movies, they get their fight scenes, their like big fight scenes all choreographed, all set up.
Yeah,
and then they technically will build the story around those. So they know they're gonna keep those in the end. So that's like. He didn't generally have like a big fight with him, so yeah, it probably was reshoots.
Yeah, I think it was, and also just kind of a throwaway of a decent actor,
right?
Because he's in a lot of shit right now where he's just like kind of like thrown away with like the potential you could use with him,
right? He is, and generally he is a good villain.
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything really in this movie. He's a total little subplot character that I think was just inserted in for more ticket sales, because you throw him in the trailer a couple times and you're like, holy shit, it's Gus from Breaking Bad.
Was he the end credit scene of this movie?
No, the end credit scene's terrible, but we can get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that later then.
But so anyways, they meet the leader and all that, and the leader tries to trap them in his cell as he escapes with a bunch of brainwashed people coming at them. And also, I'm gonna just say this right now, there's so many times in this movie where they do the brainwashing thing right in front of Captain America, and for some reason it affects everyone but him.
Yeah.
Dude, when they fight in the leader's cell to trap them, he sends a bunch of guards after them in a room full of the flashing lights that hypnotize people, and it just doesn't hypnotize them. Just like later on when they get out of the cell with that. Oh, by the way, there's a character in this that's a fucking Black Widow that they insert again. Again, very Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I feel like I keep missing side characters to mention, but again, like
they're so forgettable.
So yeah, there's a Falcon, and now there's a Black Widow with him. Not the Black Widow, but a Black Widow. And as they get out of the facility, they do the second form of brainwashing, which is the music over the intercoms. Again, affects everyone but Captain America and the side characters he's with, and they get away for some fucking reason. They could have done something fun with that. At least like it brainwashes one of them and then they fight each other. Something like that.
Something cool. But no, they didn't do anything like that. They just fought a bunch of dudes and they got out of there.
And then this kind of feels to me like at this point in the movie, it kind of feels like, again, with the Captain America Winter Soldier vibe, this kind of feels like the Winter Soldier if just Arnim Zola was the main villain.
Yeah.
Because it's like if they get to the bunker in the Winter Soldier, and then after they escape the exploding bunker, Arnim Zola is still just there as the main villain.
Right. Yeah, what the... This movie... Oh, wow, I didn't realize how much they're, like, just taking beats from the Winter Soldier. That's crazy.
It is almost beat for beat. Again, too, adding the Black Widow character. Not Black Widow herself, because that's a little too on the nose, but still, it's just another Black Widow in the role, because she's a supporting character in the Winter Soldier.
Right. And then, so, I guess this then leads... Does this kind of then lead us to the big... Well, not, like, one of the big climax pieces, but, like, I guess, like, the set piece in the water where, like, they're heading over to the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, so there's a whole thing where Japan's pissy about the treaty over the adamantium. They think America was fucking around with them when that sample was stolen, because it was the Japanese sample. We didn't even establish that. The sample was the Japanese sample. They think America was fucking with them when it was stolen, and they're like, oh, you stole it just so you could take it back and look like good guys type shit. So they're almost here starting fucking World War III with Japan out on the Indian Ocean over the adamantium. Right. At least I think it's Japan that's on the water with them.
Yes.
Yeah. There's and an aerial fight scene between like ships and Falcon and all that, because you have to have at least like one Falcon fight scene,
Right. He's got to be
Falcon-esque,
flying around.
which the action was cool there.
No,
I liked it.
It was pretty. It was a fun kind of scene seeing Captain America and the Falcon kind of fly around
And
and try and
Falcon-
take down what are those fighter jets or whatever?
Yeah, and then Falcon Jr. gets fucked. He gets his shit rocked.
Yeah.
He has a missile detonate next to him or something. He crash lands in the water, gets all injured. And then essentially it's just this air fight that they're trying to hype up. It's like, oh, maybe they're going to start a war. And then it turns out that they defuse the situation.
Right.
But not before Thunderbolt Ross. Oh, we have to also talk about him dying before we've skipped over. There's so much shit going on in this movie. There's so much side plot shit.
Oh my god, yeah.
So before the fight in the water, Thunderbolt Ross mentions that the leader's only fucking with him. Well, A, because of what we said before, because he locked him away, used them to get the election, and didn't really help him in any way. And then B, he went to him because he was dying. I mean, Thunderbolt Ross, he's old.
Right.
And he was dying for whatever reason. The leader gave him some kind of a cure in the form of his Zin pouches.
Oh, yes, dude. He gave him the Zin pouches to pop in every once in a while.
So they say they're pills later, but did they not just look like he was popping Zin?
It did, dude. It looked like I saw him take one, and I popped my tin out, and I said, I'll do one with you, brother. Pops.
Yeah, so he's like the leader or whatever. They don't call him the leader in the fucking movie at all.
Which is wild. That's another wild thing.
Yeah, they say Stern helped me stay alive, essentially, with like these quote unquote pills, the Zins. And during their fight out on the water, Ross gets a call from the leader, all pissy, trying to enrage him, implying that he may have been putting something in his Zin, a little gamma radiation,
little gamma irradiated Zin pouch.
And I'm just gonna mention here, this is over 2 hours into the movie, or close to it, maybe. The main marketing of this movie is Red Hulk. He has not become Red Hulk yet.
No, and that's what I was, dude. I thought they were gearing up for it. Like watching it in theater, I'm like, bro, yes, Red Hulk on the water. Just smashing shit up sounds so crazy.
I thought they would have been fighting on the celestial hand or something as like a beach.
So cool.
That would have been cool, but no. No, but it's this little tease that he's going to become Red Hulk, which I think the scene is good, that he's like riling him up and he's starting to, like, his muscles are doing a weird CG thing. He's starting to bend a pipe with his hand. His eyes are turning kind of yellow. That's a good scene. I like that. Oh yeah, by the way, the leader killed some people and showed up in their house to call him. Remember that? He's wearing like a black coat with a hat, which I kind of like that look.
I thought that was a decent look.
I wish they would have kind of kept that with him and made him look a little more mysterious. But he still looks kind of gross and stupid looking. Not to mention when his attempt to enrage Thunderbolt Ross fails, he does a little whiny bitch fit. Do you remember that? Like, he can't be serious. He really just can't. Like, he wants so hard. It's like when the little anime nerd kid thinks that he's being mysterious. Right. Where he thinks he's being mysterious and scary as like a villain. But then like one little misstep happens and he's like,
oh, all right. I feel like I should try and break into some of the character beats. Let's first... We're almost done with the plot.
We are almost done with the plot. Thank God. It's been a shit show explaining it. But, oh, man. So the whole air battle happens. The little Falcon's fucked up. We imply that Ross has some Hulk in him. Luckily, World War III didn't start. But then we get to kind of near the end, like the climax here. We get to it's a press conference that Ross is going to have.
Before the press conference, there's a scene. So Captain America is trying to figure out what these pills are that Ross is taking.
Yeah.
And he sends it to one of his buddies. And he's like, hey, man, actually, I don't even think he gets to call him because the leader comes in and, like, I don't know what he does, but he, like, messes with their ears or something.
Oh, yeah. The setup where he was supposed to say his comic book name, but he doesn't.
And you know what? I bet you in the original cut of this movie, he
probably
did say
says
the
it.
leader.
And also, I mean, it would have been corny, but first of all, it's a fucking superhero movie, so who cares?
Right.
But also, it wouldn't have not made sense to say it there, because
Right.
the whole thing is like he's orchestrating, he's leading everything.
Right.
You could even say he's the real leader of the country, not Ross, because of the
Exactly.
knowledge he had in guiding him and shit like that. But yeah, so essentially, when Captain America's finding out what's in the Zin, the Gamma Zin, he's interrupted. Well, not interrupted. He's on the phone with someone trying to say like, "Oh, stop! No, the president. There's something wrong with the Zin he's taking." And then the soldier he's on the phone with gets interrupted by like a weird brainwave attack.
Yeah.
With some tech that the leader makes, and I think he asks like, "What are you?" That classic corny comic book line, and instead of saying his comic book name, he just says, "I'm the hero."
What a bullshit ass line. Because he's not. He's not. Captain America is.
There's nothing about the movie that implies that he's being a hero. This whole movie is nothing but him getting petty revenge. I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, you can say it's justified petty revenge on Ross because, I mean,
Justified,
sure, he
yes.
fucked you, but at the same time, it's just like, this is nothing but a petty revenge plot. How are you a hero in any way?
Oh, fucking A.
And I think then we can get to the final climax of this.
Yeah, which is there's a press conference going on, but the leader also confronts Sam Wilson just like on a bench. Which also I don't know why. Or wait, is the leader on the bench or is Sam Wilson on the bench? I can't remember.
No, so I think Sam's on the bench or something like that. Then he walks around and he like walks over to the leader who again is just standing there perfectly still. He gets arrested and does Sam realize? Does Captain America realize that he's not trying to kill? Oh no, he does. He does realize he's not trying to kill Ross.
Yeah, because he goes up. I remember the conversation. He goes up to Captain America. He's like, I'm pissy. You ruined my plan. But guess what? I had a backup plan.
Well, it was
Ross
his.
the Red Hulk.
He says it just like that.
That's
Yeah.
word for word.
I'm sorry. We're both just in silence, kind of smiling, laughing about this because it's so bad. But again, like, did they expect people to not assume that he was just trying to ruin Ross, not kill him? Like, I feel like it's the most obvious thing ever that he wasn't trying to kill him.
Exactly.
And again, that confrontation is basically just like, you actually thought I was trying to kill Ross? No. Even Sam's like, no. It's like, but what did you do to him? It's like, I don't know what exactly I did to him, but I know
I did something.
Yeah, it's like, even he's just like, no, you fucking tard. Like, he's not.
No, you're gonna lose like right now. There's only like
And then
30 minutes left.
And then they just arrest him. He just gets arrested and walks away.
Right. And then I guess this leads to like the press conference climax where we finally
At the White House, yeah, where Thunderbolt Ross finally hulks out.
Oh yeah, and I will say, the Red Hulk looked really like for the most part he looked pretty good.
Oh yeah, I mean the actual
Like CGI.
the CGI was pretty good. The look of Harrison Ford's face on it is really, really good.
Yes, he
looks exactly like the Red Hulk.
like
comics.
I honestly thought he was gonna look a lot more like Hulk.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Green Hulk. Like they just like took the CGI model, cut the head off, put Harrison.
Thank God
Ford's
they
head.
don't,
Thank
but-
God they didn't do that because like he looked different. He looked. I don't want to say he looked bigger, but
He looked unique, at least.
He looked unique, but almost. You know what? I'm gonna say it. He did look a little bit bigger than the Hulk.
And it's probably because he doesn't have that gross, like, hunch goblin look that
Right,
the
that
Mark
could be
Ruffalo
it.
one has.
Yeah.
Whenever he's not, well, now the Smart Hulk, he's, like, upright. But for some reason, all the other Avengers movies, he acts like a monkey or like a gorilla. And it's weird.
Yeah, I was always never a fan of the whole gorilla look, so at least seeing Hulk just kind of just bash some shit around, that was fun, even though it wasn't like a Red Hulk versus Green Hulk fight.
And then we finally get our climactic battle where Sam has to fight the Red Hulk. But if I'm going to be real, they make a joke in this movie. By the way, Bucky showed up.
We forgot about that.
We forgot that Bucky. Also,
yeah.
we didn't even mention Betty, but we can get to that.
We'll get to that. That's later.
But essentially, Bucky shows up once and they make a joke about, they're like, maybe I should have taken the super soldier serum. And he's like, he has this heartwarming speech about how like it's good that he doesn't have the serum because he has like people have someone to look up to because he's like, he's going against the odds despite not being a super soldier.
And I like the idea of that.
Yeah, but also I think it's also fucking stupid and bullshit because if you wanted to have that be the message of the film, you shouldn't have had him fight a giant hulking monster villain that the only way you could even go toe to toe with slightly is because of a fuckload of gadgets you had up your ass. Because the only thing that has him stand a chance in this movie is the Wakandan wings. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they give Sam, when he becomes Captain America, they give him like vibranium wings. And they give him in this movie kind of like like Black Panther, he absorbs kinetic energy through punches and shit in his suit. They give that to Sam in his wings. And the only reason he stands a chance in this film is because he can just use those wings to tank hits and send him back. And because of the fact that the vibranium wings can like cut through the Hulk, I guess is what they imply, because he does it a lot. Right. But it's like, if you wanted the message to be, you could go against the odds being a normal human as Captain America, but then you use none of your human qualities to defeat this giant creature.
And this is a point that I did want to bring up. Like, dude, all right, vibranium now I think just makes fights too easy now.
It does. Same with nanotech. I'm real sick of nanotech.
I'm sick of nanotech. Like, and I mean, like, it's cool that vibranium can absorb it. Yeah, I was always like, I never had a problem with, I guess, like Cap's shield, but like even like the vibranium suit that Black Panther gets in
the mega buff they give him because they have to make him a more interesting character than a guy with claws.
Yeah, and I'm like, come on. Like, all right, that starts getting into the realm of like this man can just release plasma charges to like
yeah.
And it's just like I found the same problem with Captain America in this movie. I'm like, holy crap. So this man can just do anything because he has vibranium.
Yeah, dope. Essentially. And then not necessarily an overpowered thing, but I gotta say, I'm getting really sick of seeing the nanotech helmets.
Yes. Oh my god.
In every fucking movie now, to have a character's face be covered and like removed, there's not a single physical mask or helmet in these movies anymore. No. It is always a little quick CGI nanotech dispersal. And they do it in this movie too. And it's like, God, I'm so fucking sick of seeing that.
Just give me a real costume, please.
Yeah, I mean, some movies, even the costumes aren't real either, but still, like, dude, it's getting kind of fucking ridiculous at this point. Like, there's no reason why Falcon needed a nanotech thing to put his helmet on.
No, but I guess still going on with the vibranium, he uses that to his advantage in this fight. And
yeah, he slices up Red Hulk a bit, tanks some shots, sends him back.
It's so crazy that the Red Hulk, just like, he got a couple slashes. He got fucked up a little bit. He gets stabbed in the stomach, and he doesn't heal.
Well, I think he heals kind of slowly, because when they're kind of at the climax of their fight, so it starts out at the White House. They're fucking each other up. By the way, total fucking cap on the catch of the flagpole. Everyone points out that scene, and I see it all the time now after watching the movie. Sam, Captain America, Captain Falcon, whatever the fuck. I never know what to call him. But when he swings a flagpole at him, he doesn't catch it with the wings. He catches it with his hands.
With his bare hands.
No fucking sense. That's just one that they completely overlooked. Where it's like, you would have been dead.
No,
and then
they imply he out of there.
They imply he like catches it because the jet propulsion thing on the back of his suit is like pushing against it. Like, that doesn't matter. You caught it with your hands.
It doesn't matter. You're still getting hit.
Yeah, if you would have like blocked it with the wings and then maybe put it on his hands after that or something at least. But I'm like, that one's pretty bullshit.
No, and also, that's wild.
Near the end of the fight too, like you see some of the small wounds from the vibranium heal. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they just use vibranium as like an OP weapon here, where he starts slicing up Hulk's back. He's throwing the little Falcon metallic feathers that are just stabbing him all over. Mm-hmm. He chases him around DC. So it starts out at the White House. He what did they pass the Washington Monument or
Washington
Washington
Monument.
Monument for a little bit? They jump past that quickly. Then they end up in like a garden or something.
A rose petal garden.
Yeah, like a rose petal garden where they have their final showdown. Which, don't get me wrong, it's cool. It's just too quick.
Right. Yeah.
It's way too quick.
It was. Yeah. It was like I think maybe a 5-minute sequence.
I'd say like
that.
4 minutes
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah, they're fighting, and it's cool when the fighting's happening. But this whole fight scene's just like Cap holding him off as long as he can. This is not something where he's winning.
Right. Right.
And then, I mean, sure enough, he fucking rips a whole wing off, almost fucking crushes his head, and then he gets out by what was it? He has like one of the little feather blades that he stabbed him with earlier is still inside of him, and he kicks the wound to free himself before getting his head popped.
Crazy.
And then I think was it the way this climax ends is the wing that's still on is so overloaded with kinetic energy from all the punches that he just stabs him right in the stomach with it. There's a huge explosion. It all goes to shit. Like the whole fucking block's destroyed. And then when they pull Sam out of the rubble.
Oh, the green screen.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. But essentially they have this heart-to-heart with Red Hulk.
Yep.
A sun's getting real low moment where to talk him down, they bring up his daughter Betty, which we forgot to mention in this whole movie. I didn't think it'd be worth bringing up with all the other shit right away, or I didn't think it'd be worth mentioning kind of till the end. But throughout this whole movie, Ross always brings up that he's trying to be a better man for his daughter, who has not been talking to him since The Incredible Hulk, which has been, I don't know, fucking over a decade now.
Yeah.
But they talk him down by like doing the whole think of Betty, like just kind of think of what Betty would want or some shit like that, and then he shrinks down, but not before we see really, really bad green screen. Again, I don't get why it's green screen. Why is it always green screen?
See, the thing is, I believe that was probably a reshoot.
Oh yeah, I mean 100%.
So I'm trying to think like, what happened then?
But you know what I mean? Like, dude, like green screen should not be the hard shoot for a multi-million-dollar movie.
Right.
It's always a green screen moments that, like in movies, like this movie has a 4-minute action sequence of a giant red hulking creature fighting a guy with robot wings, and it looks fine. And then when you have a man standing there stationary with a green screen, it looks fucking awful during probably the most like crucial moment of the film.
Right. I mean, and the only thing that like honestly like threw me off was that like the Hulk was moving slower than I thought he could be moving, like he should have been moving faster, like
I thought it was,
but
it was
like
all right.
no, but like he reacted with physics, like I'm sure that's probably what they were taking into consideration.
Yeah.
And like I agree with that. I like I like that. I don't know. I just remember Hulk being a lot faster. So, and I mean probably old age. He's an old Hulk.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
You see a little whiter on the hairline too.
But no, I shouldn't justify this.
No. Honestly, other than the fact that they over-advertise the Hulk being the main villain of this when he is not at all, Harrison Ford didn't do a bad job in this movie.
No, Harrison Ford.
I don't think we talked enough about Harrison Ford in this review or this like rundown of the plot, because when they announced Harrison Ford is going to be the recast for William Hurt, I was like, cool. Every movie Harrison Ford's in lately, it's just kind of like you can tell he's doing this for the paycheck.
Right.
There doesn't seem like there's a lot of passion behind it anymore. If anything, it's probably one of those like I'm just gonna keep collecting money to give to my family. You know what I mean? Before I pass away, type shit.
Right.
Like a Bruce Willis thing. But yeah, I mean, he did a good job when he was there. Like he was present for this movie.
Yeah.
He gave
Guaranteed.
it his all, and I was surprised by that. All the Red Hulk stuff was good when he was there. I just wish there was more of it. The only thing I can do without with Red Hulk's character is, again, we didn't maybe say this much when we're talking about the rundown of the plot. He brings up Betty all the fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. I'm doing this for Betty. I want to be a better person for Betty. It's like, oh my gosh.
It's his main motivation.
I mean, how much motivation do you have when the Hulk's not around for Ross? So.
That's fair. That's fair. Then bring the Hulk around.
Yeah, I know. Then bring him back. But yeah, but he talks him down, and that's basically it, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it kind of just like
the day has been saved.
The day's been saved. It kind of wraps up. Betty finally
Does show up.
she does show up in a little cameo where she talks to I guess I don't know if he's President Ross anymore, but just
Probably
general,
not, but
just Thunderbolt Ross in a jail cell, and I was like, all right, that's cool. At least there was some catharsis. I think that's the right word. Some
Yeah,
sort of ending to that plot.
yeah, so yeah, like a wrap up to that
Yeah.
arc, I guess. Yeah, but Betty's there. I don't know if I'd say she forgives him, but
No.
they're patching things out after
Yes.
the 10 plus years after the Incredible Hulk. Again, this why they make it really seem like the Incredible Hulk happened like a year or two ago. It's been like 11 years in the Marvel timeline at least, more than that actually, because there was the 5-year jump of Endgame in their time.
Yeah.
But what was the Hulk like 2008, 2009?
2008.
2008. So yeah, that had to have been almost at least past 15 years in the Marvel timeline.
Crazy.
And again, it's like, okay, we're just gonna pretend that the Incredible Hulk just happened, I guess. But
All right, all right. I just have one more speculations. Then I know I don't have too much more I want to talk about, but maybe I'll run over some of my character things after this. I just now thinking about it, I'm wondering if this movie was actually gonna have General or President Ross die in the end.
I was thinking that they were gonna do that, and I really was hoping that they wouldn't, just because I don't know what he would do. Maybe they'll put him in that stupid fucking Avengers Doomsday stuff and
Right.
kill him or something. Because I honestly, I feel like they're never gonna do anything with him again.
No.
But at the same time, I really would have hated seeing him die too. That would have been really lazy, in my opinion.
But I'm wondering. I'm wondering that's probably why it was like reshoot to, hey, I'll talk him down, and then he just gets saved.
I think him being killed would have been so much lamer. I don't want to see.
I get it.
I don't want to see a Hulk character be introduced and die in the same movie. That just
Right.
doesn't feel like a Hulk character.
No, yeah, and I don't think I would want that either, because I would definitely at least want to see him interact with the Hulk.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but
I know it's never gonna happen, but I can pray, I can wish.
if they do anything with him, it's gonna be some shit where they just let him out of his cage to go loose during the Avengers shit.
I'm
for
pretty
the
sure
big
that's
crossover.
what it's gonna be.
It's gonna be the time to sever off loose ends by shoehorning some more characters into the new Avengers thing.
Maybe they could just do like Hulk Agents of Smash. Have you heard of that TV
Yeah,
show?
yeah. But at the same time, it's like Harrison Ford's not gonna be around for another decade.
That's okay. We got the likeness. He's just gonna be in Hulk form the whole time.
See, that's what I speculated of a long time ago. I know we talked about that in a previous
Mm-hmm.
episode too, that they just wanted his likeness for the CG. I don't know. There's a lot of legal gray areas
Yeah,
with
there
that
is.
because of like you'd have to really get the person on board with it. You'd have to get their family on board with it too, because
Right.
they have the rights to their likeness after their death. But yeah, that would be a new progression in Hollywood, to say the least, if they
Right.
actually were able to do something like that or set up that kind of a deal. I don't know. Part of me really thinks Marvel would be the ones to try it first.
Oh, guaranteed.
But I don't know if they will go there. We'll have to see.
No, and I hope they don't do that. But I do want to see more of the Hulk. Just real quick, I wanted to talk about just some character beats that I wrote down.
Or do you want to do the end credit scene real quick? It's
Oh,
not
yeah, yeah,
much,
yeah,
but
yeah.
the end credit scene is so vague and pointless. It is Sam going to see the leader in his cell on the
Mm-hmm.
raft, and he just says like something's coming, and that's it. Just something.
Crazy how you can't be any more vague than that.
And also, there's no Captain America villains that could be implied there. There are no Hulk villains that could be implied there. There is
didn't-
fucking nothing.
Didn't they say that Captain America will return in Serpent Society or something like that?
Oh, I have no
in
idea.
Like the end,
Maybe
like
just
the
like a
actual
joke.
credits.
Maybe. But I think it just said he'd be back, right?
Okay, maybe I was tripping on that.
I think they could just be either implying the X-Men shit, or they could be implying whatever the Avengers Doomsday shit's gonna be.
I'm assuming that's what it is, because they have to be gearing up towards another Avengers movie soon. When is that?
They already have leaks for the Doomsday concept art, and it's fucking weird.
Oh,
it's
God.
It's really weird.
See, I don't want to get into Doomsday right now, but god damn it, why can't we just have a different Doomsday, man? Why can't we just have our own Fantastic Four Doomsday instead of Tony Stark?
Yeah, well, that's how they get around being able to recast Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I know.
But that's
I know.
that's another day.
That is another day. We're not gonna get into that.
But anyways, your character beats.
So character beats. I had some stuff for Captain America. I his only character trait in this is how can I live up to the original? How can I live up to Steve Rogers? And then I like it, but also like nothing ever comes to fruition on it. It's just he gets pouty about it for a little bit, and then he's like, "Oh,
Well,
guess we're not."
that's the same thing too, though, with like the conversation with Bucky. Is like that's the kind of the first moment that they kind of have what you think to be character progression, where he's like, "You're not Steve. Stop trying to be
Right.
Steve. You are you." Inspire people by being a normal man type shit. But then again, this movie doesn't set it up for a good
No,
scenario
no.
for that.
And then the recast really really well. I just wish there was more Red Hulk. I felt he was a little nerfed.
Yeah,
as
and,
well.
and again, Harrison Ford's presence was good. The Red
Yeah.
Hulk stuff was good. Everything about him was good in the movie. It's just not enough of it.
Exactly. I have the leader here. He is silly, but not silly enough to call himself the leader in the movie.
Yeah. The one thing he thought would have been too cringe for himself to say is that he is the leader.
And then the one thing I have in here is he looks so funny. He has no skull.
No top skull, at least. No top to
Yeah.
that dome.
Oh,
He's got no dome on it.
That's just I find that funny. I just write it quick.
He looks like that Jimmy Neutron villain, or is it the one with
Yes.
the brain sticking out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but other than that, what was like your favorite part of the movie?
I just like the action. That was about it. I like the action with Red Hulk at the end and all that. And
I would have to say I'm in the same boat. That's my favorite part is the Red Hulk stuff.
all the Red Hulk stuff. I love how he becomes the Red Hulk from gamma radiation infested Zin.
Yes.
I know
Best way
I know
to
they're
become
pills,
Hulk.
but he is just they're gamma Zins. Can you imagine how much would you pay to get gamma radiations in that would make you an actual comic accurate Hulk?
Bro, so I would pay so much. All the amount I
Despite
have.
the pain and all
Despite
that.
the pain,
Because you know that when they transform, it's always a thing where they say it doesn't feel pleasant.
No, and you even see that in this movie where he kind of like doesn't his hand kind of
Oh
like
yeah,
break?
that's it. Yeah.
And then,
Again,
like,
another good thing about the Red Hulk stuff too is they didn't do the really lazy. I'm just gonna inflate and change colors quick. They
Right.
did the slightly grotesque kind of Hulk transformation. You see the not seizing, but the very contracted, muscly stuff. With
the
his,
bones are like growing and breaking out of place.
and he's kind of
almost.
disproportionately growing
Yeah.
too. And again, like the hand was weird. It's almost splits in half when he's growing, and it's kind of again slightly grotesque, but it's still PG-13.
Right.
But again, like I like the Hulk transformation where it's not nice looking.
No, and I don't
Because
think
why
the
would
Hulk-
it? Why would it be
shouldn't.
nice looking?
You're mutating into something bigger than your body is ready for. Like
Yeah.
I always thought that looked really good. I don't know if there was anything that like I guess was like. I mean, I could say the leader was bad, but not really. Like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I mean, I guess that's probably the thing I disliked about this movie was the villain was kind of meh.
Yeah. Also, the leader being the main villain, that kind of surprised me. Not gonna lie. I mean, I knew it when I went into the movie that it was
Yeah.
gonna end up being him. But if you were to tell me that like back during the Incredible Hulk, the leader's gonna be like a main villain in a like big Marvel movie, the same actor and everything, I
Right.
wouldn't really believe you.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't believe that either.
But I mean, they did it. They didn't. They didn't do it well, but they
did
sure
it.
did it.
They did it. Is there anything else that we kind of need to cover before we kind of just like go over like our score overall thoughts?
I don't think so. If anything, I feel like we talked plenty about cons, but I just want to kind of establish again. When we watched this movie, I thought it was all right and fine. And, like when some people rate a movie, they say like, oh, it was just forgettable. I forgot about X, Y, and Z right away. Dude, I'm going to be real. When we watched the movie, I thought it was fine. It sufficed. It was a decent time.
Right.
But dude, like, when we started going over the plot of this movie, I actually forgot about so many fucking
Right.
characters, and it started to sync with me how actually forgettable so much of this movie is.
Yeah, and I think, and it's I don't want to say that's like the worst thing a movie can be is just forgettable, but yeah, that's probably the worst thing a movie can be.
I will say though, this movie can at least be enjoyably bad.
Yes.
That's the key there. That's a sweet spot that can save a movie if it's fun bad. So
Yeah.
I think there's the realm of great movie, fun bad, popcorn flick, and then boring bad. I think boring bad is the worst you can possibly be for a
Yes,
movie.
absolutely.
Because good movie, I mean, it's just a good movie overall. Good story, good. If it's an action movie, good action. If it's a horror movie, good horror. Just good characters,
right.
good writing, along with a nice spectacle or in some way, whether it's cinematography, anything like that, CG, fight scenes, whatever have you. And then a popcorn flick to me is when it starts to like story's not that great, maybe characters aren't that great either. I think of Transformers as the prime example of
Right.
popcorn flicks,
Yep.
where it's like, regardless of that, it's a spectacle. It can be fun. Again, like I turn my brain off. I turn the knob down quite a bit to watch it, but it's fine. I'm
Right.
just having fun watching it. It's nothing great, but I'm having fun. Then fun bad, that's the realm of it's pretty bad, but it is also really corny or goofy, and I'm having fun with it in that regard,
Right.
even though it's terrible. And then boring bad is just like it's not trying anything while also being boring or written poorly.
Right.
I think of Morbius as a perfect example
Yes,
of a
absolutely.
boring bad movie. It just takes the most generic beginning, middle, end plot line. It reminds me of when you were in school. Did you ever get the what was the chart of the mountain that they would teach you of the story of telling
yeah.
stories?
Yep.
Now people usually, when you get older, they tell you to do the hero's journey as the format for a story
Right.
now. But when we were younger, they would give us the hill or something like that as a model, where it's like this is the beginning, then climbing up the hill is like the build up, the climax is the peak, and then it like drops down to the ending, whatever. But like Morbius felt like it did the most generic beginning, middle, and end, as if like it was some grade schooler who just learned the format of how to make a movie and like a hero and a villain.
Yes.
But but that's besides the point. Where I think Captain America lands on this is popcorn flick.
Okay. That I don't know if I could agree there on you. A little bit I can agree with you, but at least when we were watching the movie together, and I don't know, I found us laughing at the movie, and then like I would look and like no one else would be laughing, and I'm like, oh, are we
Because
just laughing?
it's because we're also nerds. I think it's because we understood stuff and
could-
references.
Yeah, that could be it too. But yeah, I mean, I think that also like that says something to a movie just for me personally.
Do you think it was fun bad then?
I think it was like fun bad. Like
Okay.
like I wasn't like it wasn't, and I can't say that because like I can't say like the acting was like horrible or like anything like that. I will say the story of this is kind of a little mishmashed all over the place, but no, I think I'm gonna have to say in like that good bad realm.
Okay.
Just because like I mean I had fun with the movie like watching it, but like would I watch this again?
What do you think this would be out of 10? Because I'm debating if like a 5 or 6. Like because I'm getting that very MCU filler vibe from this.
Yeah.
Which that stuff like because I feel like 7 up in like out of 10 rating would be like when you're starting to get into the realm of like I enjoyed that quite a bit, which I don't know if I would say I enjoyed
Right.
it that much.
No. Would you say like a solid like 4.5?
Yeah, I think I'll just sit it at a 5.
You sit at a 5?
It's kind of because I think that middle of the road implies it gets some stuff
Yeah.
wrong, but it's not horribly offensive.
Yeah, okay, no. I see your point. I would
I'll give
go
it
to
a 5 out of 10.
I'd go
5
to
out of
5.
10. There you go.
5 is where we're sitting at that. Do you have any other thoughts, or should we wrap it up?
I don't think so. I think we should wrap it up. So this has been nearly 90s. Check out I think we have a playlist for all this stuff.
Oh yes.
So yeah, check out the playlist. Check out other episodes. We got more coming out soon. Check out Bryce Cherney at his channel. You can find me at Joscope or Joscope Run on YouTube and I almost said Twitter, Twitch. But yeah, check us out. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah. Deuces.